We're good. I'd like to call this meeting to order. It's 6:15 p.m. We're at the Germantown PAC on March 17th, 2025. Roll call, Tom Barney.
Here.
Eric Brown.
Here.
And I am Michael Loth. Item 3, agenda revisions and approval.
Motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
Motion by Tom Barney, second by Eric Brown. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
That motion carries. Item 4, approval of minutes, approval of the February 17th, 2025 meeting minutes.
Motion to approve the February 17, 2025 minutes.
Second.
Okay, motion by Eric Brown and second by Tom Barney. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
That motion carries. Item 5, consent review and discuss March vouchers. That will be Brittany Altendorf, whom I can't see past the speaker, but somehow will survive. And I know there were a couple of questions anyway.
Sure, I think I've received about 7 questions. So I will go through each one of them. The first one was regarding a credit card purchase for American Red Cross, and that was for lifeguarding certifications. It is lifeguarding for students to receive their certificates, but then the district is reimbursed once the student passes and receives the certificate. So we pay the upfront cost, and then the student is charged, so they are able to be a lifeguard in their future.
Oh, okay, yeah, it said items for resale, which was more, I thought, akin to the auto shop or something.
Oh, no, sorry. No,
Yeah.
items for resale just because we get reimbursed for
Yeah,
it, so it has
okay.
to go in that category.
Okay, understand.
The next one is regarding Educational and Interpreting Services LLC. It is for an interpreter sub. The answer to the question is we have a student that needs a one-on-one interpreter. When that interpreter is not there for the day, we do have to have a sub there for the student. So we pay a sub service for them to come in for the day.
Okay.
Additional questions on that one?
Yeah, it's on,
Okay.
that's good, we're good.
The next one was regarding books that were purchased, so I did send that to the committee for review, a list of the books that were purchased on this voucher. Those were sent to the committee, and if they have any questions, you can send them in an email, and we'll be happy to follow up with them.
Okay,
The next one is regarding $2,384.20 for Stericycle Inc. That is due to having shredding done. The business office and some of the other departments in the district office over the summer went through all the files in the warehouse. They went back to the 1970s. We do legally have to keep a certain amount of years of paper, but I don't think that it's been gone through, obviously, for a while. So to make more room in our warehouse and to be able to find the stuff that we need if we do have to go back, we wanted to clean it out. So we took many days during this summer, and we went through all the boxes, and we did get a quote prior to getting it done, but the items had to be shredded. So we literally made piles of stuff that had to be shredded and didn't, and those were the items that had to be shredded.
okay, and what was the amount, dollar amount for that?
Sure, it was $2,384.20.
Okay, all right, thank you.
The next question I received was in regards to biometric screenings. One time a year, we do have a company come in and do biometric screenings on our staff, in which they take weight, height, and one other one, measurements?
Blood.
I knew that, and blood. They took 3 things, but then they also take blood, and then the employee gets the results every year. That is part of our wellness program. The district does pay for it, and then staff gets points towards their wellness initiative.
And that's only for employees on the insurance plan.
Correct.
Insurance doesn't pick that up?
Insurance picks it up if they would go to their doctor to do it. So if you were not here for the biometric screening, which is a convenience, then you can go to your doctor for it, and then you would just submit the sheet from your doctor. The next question I received was regarding approximately $103,000 payment to Commissioner of Public Lands. Was it principal and interest payment? The answer is yes. It was for one of our debt payments. It was in regards to the Rockfield second floor build-out from 2016. The debt was from 2016 to 2026, so you will see the last payment of, again, approximately $103,000 this time next year. Then that debt will be paid off. And then the final question was regarding, I believe, the way that stuff is written, the detail of the purchase is written. For example, sometimes it states the same thing repetitively, like art room supplies, art room supplies, art room supplies, and does not give detail, if I'm answering the question correctly. We have instructed the staff that enters the information to be more detailed, but they did not in this case. So we did reach out to those two sites that says, please be more specific on what you're purchasing. They do obviously have to type it in, and a copy and paste of art room supplies is a lot faster for them, but to be a little more detailed on what that consists of. As well as the other example of technology education department, that should be a lot more detailed. You are correct.
So do you see more detail than we see when you forward that on?
Oh, when the report comes,
Well, you forward to us all the sheets.
correct.
Is that the same as you see in your department, or is?
So, but the accounts payable person does see more detail in a separate section of the system. So we
Okay,
could have
that's-
more detail. We do see the detail, and we see the actual online items, and some of these might be online items, where it's then, I don't want to say dumped, but transferred into our accounting system. So we do see the detail of it.
Okay,
And the principal, the approver, whoever approved that to get that far, sees the detail of it.
okay.
If we did want more detail, we can give it. The report will just be longer. So we can change our report parameters on certain items. And a few years ago, I did bring to the board or the finance committee what they would like on that information, on the reports, if you'd like more information, less information. And the report that's provided today is the report that we decided on. But if more information is required, or less information, or different information, we can adjust our reports accordingly.
I think it's probably along the lines of different information.
Okay,
To use up the field that we can see with a real generic title that's common across art supplies.
okay.
If that can be, for your purposes at the end, but we see 100 paintbrushes or something. So we know what the
Okay,
item
yep,
is.
we could
Instead of
change
using
that
up
field,
limited
so
space.
we would just grab a different field, yes,
Right, change the order of those fields.
correct. I can look into that.
Yeah, that'd be all right. We could try it. I don't think it's that much work to do that, is it?
I don't think it's that much work to change the parameters of the report, so I will create a report and maybe send you an example, so we can just go through it before I bring next month's, if that's okay.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay.
If it,
I won't send a whole report, I'll just create a sample of what it might look like.
yeah, this one was about 87 pages, I think. If it goes to, 167 pages, maybe we won't do it.
Right, because it will be specific. It will be like red 1-inch, paintbrush, 12. Like blue 2-inch paintbrush, 13. Like it will be really specific.
That'd be more fun.
Okay, well, I will be happy to create an example and send it to you.
Yeah, maybe for this last month, so we'll see what 87 pages turns into.
How it compares?
Yeah, we might know the answer right away.
Okay. Those were the only questions I
That's
had.
it. Okay. Yeah, I'd like to thank, I think it was Eric for answering about that 103K debt fund. I didn't realize that was for Rockfield. I just kind of assumed it was for the
Referendum?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that would-
it's nice to hear that we only have one more payment next year, I believe you said, and we're done with that Rockfield addition then.
Correct.
Very good. Okay, I will,
Make a motion to approve the consent to payment vouchers as presented and reviewed.
I will second.
motion by Tom Barney, second by Eric Brown. Any further discussion? Thank you, Brittany. You did a great job, as always, on these. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That motion carries. Okay, next item is item 6, reports and updates, February variance report. That's Brittany Altendorf, please.
In front of the committee today is the monthly variance report for February 2024 compared to February of 2025, again for the general fund and the special education fund, showing the expenditures and revenues on the report. Beginning with expenditures, you can see that we've spent approximately 46.5% of the general fund budget so far, which is slightly lower than the previous year of 48% spent. In regards to the dollars, we've spent approximately $900,000 more, even though the percentage is less. We spent more money this February compared to the previous year. I did speak last month regarding the increases from one year over the other one, and consistent to last month, capital expenditures is higher this month than last month, also an increase in salaries compared to the previous year, but we did have a decrease in leasing payments. We purchased some of our technology instead of leasing it this year, so you did see the leasing payments go down due to purchasing those technology items. When it comes to special education, the special education budget has spent approximately $140,000 more this year than compared to last year. The percentage is comparable due to an increase in the budget of $375,000 compared to last year. And then when it comes to revenues for both of those funds, I did previously speak about the early property tax payments, so you'll see that we have more revenue this time than we did last year. And then we also received the ESSER expenses from the previous year. Again, we received the revenue, those are the two reasons we have more revenue, and I did state that last month as well. And then in regards to the special education revenue, it's slightly higher by $300,000, and that is just due to us claiming flow through federal funds earlier this year than the previous year. Spending has not changed, it's just that we're claiming the funds sooner. And then finally, fund balance. We started the year off with about $9 million in fund balance, and as of this report, we're at about $7.3 million in fund balance. That's all I have for February's report, unless you have other questions.
I can't think of any right now. What was the fund balance final again?
About $7.3 million
Okay,
for both funds. Special education is in the negative, but general fund is in the positive until
Okay.
the transfer is completed at the end of the year.
I don't know if I'll mention it in the full board meeting, but maybe we'll see how it's going.
And that, just to reiterate, that's all our fund balance, reserved, unreserved, designated, so it's the whole fund balance. If it's reserved for specific things such as retirement or self-funded insurance, it's all encumbered into that number. This isn't just unreserved fund balance. Just want to make sure you're clear on the definition.
I understand completely.
Okay.
I don't know that everyone does, but I think most of us on the board understand completely. So I might bring that up. We'll see how it's going. All right. Item 6B is the school fees report. And that's Brittany Altendorf, please.
At a previous board meeting, we did have a public comment regarding school fees, so I just wanted to bring it back to the committee. just as a little more detail on student fees that are charged to our students. Recently, in February, we did bring the 25-26 fee schedule that the board did approve. I just wanted to, again, give some more information. We do follow state statute. State statute consists of sections 118, 120, and 121. And again, it's portions of those sections, not all of them. So for your reference, I just wanted to let the committee know if you wanted to look at them. Again, they're 118, 120, and 121. In 2022, we did get a review from DPI in which we had to justify all our fees at that time. We did send them our fee list, what all the fees were for, submitted it to them. They did a review. They came back and said all the fees were fine and what we were charging them for. I did go through some of the state statutes and I wrote down just briefly what we can and cannot charge for. Again, this can be in more detail, but some of the things we cannot charge for is technology hardware, tuition for required classes, staff salaries, building maintenance, transportation that is required by the district, and college courses if the district doesn't college courses if the district doesn't offer them with limitations, we have to pay for those. The last one. Other things we can charge for: consumables, non-required courses, transportation to co-curriculars, technology hardware, if portions can be saved and kept for future use. So you can't charge for hardware unless the hardware can be saved by the student and used for future use. Selling or renting textbooks and workbooks, use of gym towels. We can charge if we would have daycare or driver's ed. We don't have either one of those, but we can charge for them. So those are some of the items that we can charge for, and then the previous list was items we can't charge for. But we did work with our legal counsel and, again, DPI, a legal counsel recently, DPI back in 2022, to make sure that we are following state statute. But if there's any other questions, I'd be happy to either answer them tonight or follow up with questions or answers.
I would add an audit of any school district in the state of Wisconsin. Our fee list is almost identical, so it's not that we're doing something egregious that any school district in the state would not do the same from a public school setting.
Okay, any questions? Yeah, I think I'll probably give the Cliff's Notes version of that in the full board meeting, but over time, we've seen some fees go up a little bit and some fees go down a little and some dropped depending on the circumstances. And, I think we've been very fair with our fees. So I was a little surprised at the last full board meeting when we were getting some complaints on that. So anyway, I had asked for this so the full board knows, and nice work, Brittany, for getting that out to us. And I believe Chris also sent us an email with various statutes. Now, the statute, there's another number in front of 118, 120, and 121. Mm-hmm. What is it? I just don't know what it is, like 126 or something? Or, that's not the whole statute, 118, is it?
Oh, no, those are the sections of the statute.
Yeah.
It's like 118 point something. So like I said, those are the sections, but then within those sections, there's parts of them. So there's a lot more. I wasn't going to list every single one of them. I was just listening the main section of them.
Chris is looking it up right now, so he'll give it to me, I think, in case I want to mention it in the full board meeting.
I think they're mentioned in our policy around fees.
Okay.
At the end, typically policy based in statute will reference the state statutes that are applicable to it or guiding to it, to the language in it.
Right. There's subsections to those that are
Correct.
related to them.
Okay. Very good. Thank you. Yes.
Just in that scenario, if we can, and I think policy at some point will be meeting, in those scenarios where we have those, we should just make sure they're listed in totality at the end of the policy. or specific, if you want to highlight something specific to a sub-statute, it would be great to get that in there.
Okay.
It's easier for people when they're researching this stuff to see the totality of the information and not just portions of information.
Sure.
We can amend the board packet with the information Ms. Altendorf shared, and just have a subsection laying out what you verbally shared
Okay.
as well.
That'd be great. Sorry.
Tom?
Our policy on student fees lists, 5 different state statutes at the bottom.
Which again, our policy is vetted by Neola Legal and is fact, is real.
I think we're good. Okay, item 7, new business, 7A, 2024-2025 budget adjustments. Brittany Altendorf, please.
Around this time, every year, I come to the Finance Committee and the Board with any budget adjustments that we have since the annual meeting. And I would just like to go over the 5 requests for the committee today for your approval. First one is in regard to an SFM safety grant. This is a grant that we complete every year for safety. It is through, obviously, our SFM, which is our work comp carrier. They give a grant up to $2,000 matching. We usually get stuff similar to shovels for winter or salt spreaders, day-to-day things that we would be purchasing anyways. So we fill out the grant and we usually receive the $2,000 and we match the $2,000. So we get $4,000 of winter stuff that we'd be purchasing anyway. So at the beginning of the year, we budget nothing because we're not guaranteed the grant, even though we've received it the last 4 years. So we're just revising it to wash each other, an expense and a revenue of $2,000. The next one is in regard to Common School Fund. Annually, when we budget the previous year's budget because we don't know what the final dollar amount is. And at the end of January, we usually get the actual dollar amount that the grant is giving us. It is an increase of $34,387. So again, you see a wash of expenses increasing that much as well as the revenue. The next one is SNAP on PMI certification. We estimated a budget of $42,000 in one account number and $46,460 in another account number. We are just moving those funds from one account number to another account number and then adding the $39,069.22. Those should net each other. So it's just a wash. We're just moving from one account number to another account numbers. Next is in regard to Carl Perkins grant, a grant we did not know the dollar amount for. So you can see that we are adding the expense dollars to them. So they are, I believe, an increase of about $16,000 in expenses. And then the final one is in regard to overload pay. We had it in one account number and we moved it to another account number. So you can see that we are asking for an additional expenditures of $15,787 of budget adjustments in front of you today. If that can be approved, it would go to full board for approval.
Okay. I'll take a.
Motion to bring forward to the Board of Education with a positive recommendation to approve the 2024-2025 budget adjustments as presented.
I will second.
Okay, motion by Tom Barney, second by Eric Brown. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, that motion carries. All right, item 7B, mental health grant plan. Katie Cole.
Hello, I'm bringing forward to the Finance Committee a mental health grant plan that for some training for the end of this school year. The school-based mental health grant funds are awarded to school districts. That's a piece of the state budget. And there's some spending guidelines that the money can be used for. So for this school year, the goals that we're looking for are to do some training for staff around the area of trauma-sensitive schools to help increase just kind of some background knowledge and some strategies and provide some consistency across the district. So specifically for this plan, we will provide that trauma-sensitive school training for trainers through WellPoint for all school counselors, the pupil services coordinator, and myself. There's a 4-day training that will take place. There are 2 days in 2 different weeks in May for like I said, the counselors, myself, and our coordinator. Those dates are May 12th, 13th, 19th, and 20th. And for each new trainer certification, it's $2,750. So that's a total of $33,000 that, again, would be funded through the mental health grant that is awarded through the state.
Okay. The only question I had was, I think after reading all the material, I didn't see where will the training be?
It's at WellPoint. WellPoint's located off of Capitol Drive, so it's at their facility.
Okay, I guess I didn't pick up on that it was at,
Yeah.
that they even had a facility. Okay, very good. Any other questions, anybody?
We talked quite a bit about this in committee.
In
I think
committee.
we're all there, so,
Teaching, was it through teaching and learning?
teaching and learning.
Okay.
Ready for a
I will
motion?
Take a motion.
Motion with a positive recommendation from the Teaching and Learning Committee to the Finance Committee to approve 12 staff members to take trauma-sensitive school train the trainer, 4-day professional development through WellPoint Care Network in the amount not to exceed $33,000, funded by school-based mental health state funding grant.
Second.
Motion by Eric Brown, second by Tom Barney. Any discussion? We're good with the motion as is?
It would normally be motion from the Finance Committee. In this case, that's not how it was recommended. But it's still coming forward from this committee. So I think it's fine.
It gets to the essence of who's recommending it forward, yes. But in the future, we'll change that positive recommendation from the Finance Committee, though it came from Teaching and Learning.
Okay, very good. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
That motion carries. Okay, next item is 7C, and it is 2024, 2025 CISA contract adjustments. Katie Cole.
Yeah, thank you. I have 3 amendments for you to take a look at tonight. I previously brought an amendment last time that went only through January. So these amendments, if you look, the date goes through June 9th, so this will be till the end of the school year. There are 3 areas that are being adjusted from our initial statement of work, and that is the vision services, audiology, and orientation and mobility. The specific amendments for orientation and mobility, that's an increase of $1,212.15. And again, all of these services are based on student IEP needs that come directly from their IEP minutes. The second one is for vision services, and that is for $10,114.71. And then I also included the audiology. That one actually is a credit that is being reconciled. So we had a reduction of services. So that's $2,998.86. So when you look at the amount that we need for approval, that's why it's the $8,328, based on those adjustments with the credit and then the increases in the vision and the orientation and mobility.
Okay, very good. I will take a motion.
Motion to approve the CISO one contract amendments for an increase in vision and orientation and mobility services in an amount of $8,328 funded out of the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act flow-through grant.
Second.
Okay, motion by Tom Barney, second by Eric Brown. Any discussion? None? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, that motion carries. Item 7D.1, Chromebook purchase, Jake Misiak.
Good evening.
Good evening.
As previously discussed at the Teaching and Learning Committee, we are looking to increase the access to technology for our elementary students, particularly in grades K2. Sorry. So we're proposing the purchase of some additional touchscreen Chromebooks. These devices will be stored in the elementary libraries and made available for classroom and grade level checkout. We're proposing the purchase of 240 touchscreen Chromebooks. That would represent 2 additional carts for each of our elementary school buildings.
Okay. And these carts, are they, do you know, are they sealed up in case, while they're charging, one of them catches fire?
Not to my knowledge that they're completely sealed. Typically, the way that the carts are stored, they're in the library. They do have doors that are on them, but
And they, I believe they have ventilation because they're charged, they're plugged in, so as computers charge, they get hot. That way
Right.
there's airflow through.
So they're,
And it's a metal cart.
yeah, metal cart, airflow, so I think we're good. Just checking, as there's a lot of lithium-ion battery fires in the news these days. And we've actually had one in the middle school a few years ago. Any comments from the rest of the board?
I have no concerns with the Chromebook purchase.
What's it?
I have no concerns with the Chromebook purchase.
Okay, just checking, just wanted to check the carts. I can't remember what the fire was we had. I don't think it was Chromebooks, it was something else.
Probably the kitchen.
No, it was power tool charging or something. I just don't remember what it
Yeah, I
was.
don't
I
recall.
think it was in the tech ed area.
Yeah, those tech ed classes, they get dangerous.
It's
Yeah.
kilns.
Yeah.
All right, I'll take a motion.
Motion with a positive recommendation to the full board with a positive recommendation from the Finance Committee to approve the purchase of 240 touchscreen Chromebooks, corresponding Google licenses, and 8 charging carts from BDJ Tech for an amount not to exceed $88,820 using Common School Library Aid.
Second.
Okay, motion by Tom Barney, second by Eric Brown. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, that motion carries. Item 7D.2. We've got Kennedy Middle School kitchen equipment purchase.
Yep.
Jill Seefeld.
Good
Did I-
evening.
Did I pronounce that right?
Hello.
Pardon me?
Did I pronounce that right?
Yes, you did, Seafeld,
Okay, good.
correct. Yes. Well, good evening. I'm here tonight. I spoke a little bit about it last month at the board meeting. Kennedy Middle School is in need of some new serving equipment. The existing equipment is over 29 years old and is in need of replacement. We've had some costly repairs. So the Food and Nutrition Department will use acquired excess funds that have been accumulated over the past several years. And then the new proposal through Belter, Nelco, and then will not exceed $84,842.77. So looking for approval on new equipment at Kennedy.
And I would agree with that statement, as Ms. Altendorf and I served lunch last 2 weeks ago.
Yes,
I
you did.
believe. I think it's time for some upgrades over there.
Yes.
That's what did it, huh? Each school's going to ask you over to serve lunch now.
They all,
Yes,
We have a schedule.
I'm very impressed with the 29 years of service, and I'm interested to find out about the possible electrical code violations. I'm guessing that we don't have any violations today, but I'm guessing the new equipment might require more power, and that's where the.
They'll have to upgrade it.
Yeah, it might have, there might be an upgrade. So I don't think we have a code violation per se, but we
No.
don't intend on having one in the future either, I
Yeah.
think is how I would read this.
Yeah, that's what they placed in their quote, just to cover any additional.
Okay, very good. I will take a motion.
Motion to bring forward to the Board of Education with a positive recommendation from the Finance Committee to approve the purchase for Kennedy Middle School kitchen equipment as presented and described using Bolter Full Service Design and Nelco Electric for an amount not to exceed $84,842.77 unless electrical code violations are discovered during install.
Second.
Okay, motion by Eric Brown, second by Tom Barney. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, that motion carries. And looks like we have one more motion.
Move we adjourn.
Second.
Motion to adjourn by Tom Barney, second by Eric Brown. Any discussion? Hearing none, we are adjourned at 6:52 PM.